Namaste, sisters and brothers, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners, those who are present from the field of research, science, the truth of science and spirituality, you are listening. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action. Dear friends, today the research paper as a form of exploration. Today, in the presence of the most honorable President President Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, reverend fathers and mothers, dear friends, research is the common concept for everyone. Personal essays and research papers. Our all school students know this thing, that how they have created new ideas in form of writing. During your school career, you have probably written many personal essays that presented your thoughts, feelings and opinions, and that did not refer to any other source of information or idea. Some subjects and assignments, however, require us to go beyond our personal knowledge and experience. We undertake research when we wish to explore an idea, probe an issue, or investigate any issue, solve a problem, or make an argument that compelled us to turn to outside help. We then seek out, investigate, and use material beyond our personal resources. The findings and conclusions of such an inquiry appears in the research paper. The term research paper describes a presentation of student research that may be in a printed, an electronic, or a multimedia format. Types of research. The research paper is generally based on primary research, secondary research, or a combination of the two. What is primary research? Primary research is the study of a subject through first-hand observation and investigation, such as analyzing a literary or historical text, a film, or a performance, conducting a survey or an interview or carrying out a laboratory experiment. Primary sources include statistical data, historical documents, and works of literary works, works of literature or art. What are secondary research? Secondary research is the examination of studies that other researchers have made of a subject. Examples of secondary resources are books and articles about political issues, historical events, scientific debates, or literary works. Using secondary research, most academic papers depend at least partly on secondary research. No matter what your subject of study, learning to investigate, review, and productively use information, ideas, and opinions of other researchers will play a major role in your development as a student. The sorts of activities that constitute a research paper: identifying, locating, assessing, and assimilating others' research, and then developing and expressing your own ideas clearly and persuasively are at the center of the educational experience. Combining research and original ideas. Research increases your knowledge and understanding of a subject. Sometimes research will confirm your ideas and opinions. Sometimes it will challenge and modify them, but almost always it will help to shape your thinking. Unless your instructor specifically directs you otherwise. A research paper should not merely review publications and extract a series of quotations from them. Rather, you should look for sources that provide new information, that helpfully survey the various positions already taken on a specific subject, that lend authority to the that expand a nuisance, that expand a nuisance, that expand a nuance your ideas, that offer methods or modes of thought you can apply to new wish to argue. As you use and scrupulously acknowledge sources, however, Always remember that the main purpose of doing research is not to summarize the work of others, but to assimilate and to build on it and to arrive at your own understanding of the subject. Different approaches to research and writing. A book like any book cannot present all the profitable ways of doing research because any book emphasizes the mechanics of preparing effective papers. Mechanics Mechanics of preparing effective papers. It may give you the mistaken impression that the process of researching and writing a research paper follows a fixed pattern. The truth is that different paths can and do lead to successful research papers. Some researchers may pursue a more or less standard sequence of steps, but others may find themselves working less sequentially. In addition, certain projects lend themselves to a standard approach, whereas others may call for different strategies. Keeping in mind that researchers and projects differ, this listening discusses activities that nearly all writers of research papers perform, such as selecting a suitable topic, conducting research, compiling a working bibliography, taking notes, outlining and preparing the papers, and intellectual adventures. If you are writing your first research paper, you may feel overwhelmed by the many tasks discussed here. This listening is designed to help you to learn, designed to help you learn to manage a complex process efficiently as you follow listening's advice on how to locate and document sources, how to format your paper, and so forth. You may be tempted to see doing a paper as a mechanical exercise. Actually, a research paper is an adventure, an intellectual adventure rather like solving a mystery. It is a form of exploration that leads to discoveries that are new, at least to you, if not to others. The mechanics of the research paper, important though they are, should never override the intellectual challenge of pursuing a question that interests you. This quest or search should guide your research and your writing. Even though you are just learning how to prepare a research paper, you may still experience some of the excitement of pursuing and developing ideas. That is one of the great satisfactions of research and scholarship. Research papers and professional writing. Skills derived from preparing research papers are by no means just academic. Many reports and proposals required in business, government, and other professions similarly rely on secondary research. Learning how to write a research paper then can help prepare you for assignments in your professional career. It is difficult to think of any profession that would not require you to consult sources of information about a specific subject. To combine this information with your ideas and to present your thoughts, findings, and conclusions effectively. The research paper as a form of communication. The research paper as a form of communication. A research paper is a form of written communication. Like other kinds of non-fiction writing, letters, memos, reports, essays, articles, books. It should present information and ideas clearly and effectively. You should not let the mechanics of gathering some materials, taking notes, and documenting sources make you forget to apply the knowledge and skills you have acquired through previous writing experiences. Here, through this listening, it is a guide for the preparation of research papers. It is not a book about expository writing. Nonetheless, no set of conventions for preparing a manuscript can replace lively and intelligent writing, and no amount of research and documentation can compensate for a poor presentation of ideas. Although you must fully document the facts and opinions you draw from your research. The documentation should only support your statements and provide concise information about the sources cited. It should not overshadow your own ideas or distract the reader from them. Dear friends, our old researchers, inventors, innovators really are attached with modernity. But the starters and beginners of the different religions, those who came first in India on this earth, they were not less than the innovators, inventors, like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Gautam Buddhas who started Buddhism, Mahavir Swami who started Jainism, Brahm Samaj who started Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Arya Samaj who started Dayanand Saraswati. So these personalities came in the form of starters, beginners and initiators. They were not less than the inventors and innovators. Selecting a topic, freedom of choice. Different courses and different instructors offer widely varying degrees of freedom to students selecting topics for research papers. As per their interest, they can select as per their choice. After plus 2, after graduation, after post graduation, they select their own topics. Gradually, by increase in the classes, increase in the scale of the classes, students are free to choose their topics as per their interest. The instructor of a course in a specific discipline, for example, art, history, literature, science, may supply a list of topics from which to choose, or may more generally require that a paper relate to an important aspect of the course. If you are given the latter option, review course readings and class notes to find topics and discuss possibilities with other students and with other instructors. If your choice is limited to set a list of topics, you will probably still need to decide which aspect of a topic to explore or which approach to use. In a writing class, you may have more freedom to select a topic. The instructor may assign a general problem that can generate many kinds of responses. For example, you might be asked to choose a modern invention and show that benefits and problems it has brought about. If you have complete freedom to choose the topic, consider using a personal interest that lends itself to research. For example, education, the environment, movies, new technologies, nutrition, politics, the business of sports, or an issue that has recently generated public interest or controversy. For example, cloning, global warming, biological warfare, terrorism. Teachers understand the importance of choosing an appropriate topic for a research paper. When freedom of choice is permitted, students are commonly required to submit topics to the instructor for approval early in the research project. Finding an appropriate course. As you choose a topic, remember the time allotted to you and the expected length of the research paper. International politics in the modern age would obviously be too broad a subject for a 10-page term paper. You may prefer to begin with a fairly general topic and then to refine it by thought and research into a more specific one that can be fully explored. Try to narrow your topic by focusing on an aspect of the subject or an approach to it. A student initially interested in the general subject of violence in the media might decide, after careful thought and reading, to write on the effects of cartoon violence on preschool children. Likewise, an interest in architecture could lead to a focus on the design and construction of domes, which could in turn be narrowed to a comparison between the ancient Roman dome and the Byzantine dome. Preliminary reading is essential as you evaluate and refine topics. Consult in print or electronic form general reference works such as encyclopedias as well as articles and books in the areas you are considering. You can also refine your topic by doing subject researches in reference databases and through internet search tools. Such preliminary reading and searches will also let you know if enough work has been done on the subject to permit adequate research and whether the pertinent source materials are readily accessible. Selecting an appropriate topic is seldom a simple matter. Even after you discover a subject that attracts your interest, you may well find yourself revising your choice, modifying your approach, or changing topics altogether after you have begun research. In summing up, finally, in the conclusion, we can say, give yourself plenty of time to think through give yourself plenty of time to think through and rethink your choice of a topic. Look for a subject or an issue that will continue to engage you throughout research and writing. Consult library materials and other print and electronic information resources to refine the topic and to see if sufficient work has been done on the subject to make it a viable topic for the research paper. Before settling on a final topic, make sure you understand the amount and depth of research required and the type and length of paper expected. If you encounter problems at any point in the project, do not hesitate to consult your instructor whether to clarify the assignment or to get help in choosing, developing or researching a topic or in preparing the papers. Conducting research, the modern academic library. The library will generally be your most reliable guide as you conduct research for papers that draw on the published work of experts. Librarians evaluate resources for authority and quality before acquiring them for use in research. You should therefore become thoroughly acquainted with the libraries available to you and take full advantage of the resources and services that provide on site and over the internet. Resources and services. The modern academic library typically offers resources in print and electronic forms and in other non-print media digitally, that is films, sound recordings, as we see this modern time, downloadings, recordings, savings, imitatings, as well as computer services such as word processing, high quality printers, and access to the internet. Whereas some important resources are available only in the library building. For example, most books and other publications solely in print form, microfilm, materials, special collections. Your library probably provides a number of electronic resources such as bibliographic and full text databases that are accessible not only through computer terminals in the library but also over the internet to the library's website. Orientation and instruction. Most academic libraries have programs of orientation and instruction to meet the needs of all students from beginning researchers to graduate students. Ask about introductory templates or handbooks and guided tours as well as lectures and classes on using the library and on related subjects like developing research strategies and searching the word. The library's website likely contains scheduling information on such classes as well as descriptions of available resources and services. The site may also offer a virtual tour of the library. Professional reference librarians. Nearly all public and academic libraries have desks staffed by professional reference libraries who can tell you about available instructional programs and help you locate sources. Specialist librarians often prepare and distribute in print and electronic forms research guides to specific field of study. Consulting a librarian at key points in your research may save you considerable time and effort. Library research sources. Touring or reading about your library will reveal the many important sources of information it makes available to researchers. Information sources fall into four general categories. One is books and similar publications. The library typically houses a vast number of books as well as similar publications such as pamphlets and perhaps dissertations. Books are essential sources for many projects, and some instructors require that students use books in addition to articles, internet sites, internet sites and other materials during research. Relatively few books are available electronically over the internet. Borrow most from the library. A common exception is the library's collection of reference works. Although reference works usually cannot be borrowed, many important ones are likely available to you through the library's website. Articles and other publications in print periodicals. The library gives access to numerous articles and similar writings, for example, reviews, editorials, published in print periodicals such as scholarly journals, newspapers, and magazines. Miscellaneous print and non-print sources. Most libraries also provide non-print sources such as sound recordings and video recordings, and possibly also unpublished writings. Electronic sources. Your library probably offers reference books, reference works in electronic form and full text databases, and may also recommend useful internet sites. Your library may also subscribe to journals available only in electronic form. Next is the Central Information System. Most academic libraries provide an outline central information system to guide students and faculty members to research sources. The system ordinarily includes the library's catalog of holdings, books, periodicals, electronic sources, audio, visual materials, etc. Bibliographic databases such as Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature, Business Periodical Index, Humanities Index, Social Sciences Index, and General Science Index. These are bibliographic databases. Next is other electronic resources, including reference works, full text databases to which the library subscribes, and recommended internet sites to which the library provides link. The Central Information System might also be part of a network linking the catalogs of a number of libraries. For instance, the system in your school might permit you to search the holdings of local public libraries of other schools. If your library is part of a network such as the Center for Research Libraries, the Online Computer Library Center, or the Research Libraries Information Network, you may be able to locate sources recorded in the catalogs of thousands of other libraries. The Central Information System has almost completely replaced the card catalog in academic libraries. Card catalogs are sometimes still used for materials such as special collections that have not yet been incorporated into the information system. Reference works. A useful way to begin a research project is to consult relevant reference works. Some reference works like indexes and bibliographies categorize research materials by subject and provide data that permit you to locate sources, author, title, data of publication, and so forth. Other reference works like encyclopedias, dictionaries, and bibliographical sources give basic information about subjects. This section provides a brief introduction to the range of general and specialized reference works you should know about, many of which are available in print and electronic forms. For a more comprehensive listing by subject areas, reference works that provide data about research materials. Indexes guide you to material in newspapers, magazines, and journals, as well as to writing in book collections. The New York Times Index, the Wall Street Journal Index, and the Washington Post Index list news stories and features articles in three major newspapers. Reader's Guide to Periodical Literature Indexes, the contents of popular magazines. Essays and General Literature Index list essays and articles published in books. Most subject areas have their own specialized indexes, such as art index, business periodical index, education index, general science index, humanities index, index to legal periodicals and books, the philosopher's index, and social science index. Bibliographies are lists of related publications and other materials. Bibliographies in specific disciplines include bibliography of agriculture, bibliography bibliography guide to art and architecture, bibliography and index of zoology. Bibliographic index contains citations of bibliographies that are published as books or pamphlets as part of books or in periodicals. Collections of abstracts. Collections of abstracts present summaries of journal articles and other literature. Newspaper abstracts covers the Atlanta Constitution, the Boston Globe, the Chicago Tribune, the Christian Science Monitor, the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, the USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post. Periodical abstracts treat a wide range of English language, academic journals, and news magazines. Collections of abstracts in specific disciplines include art abstracts, biological abstracts, business abstracts, chemical abstracts, historical abstracts, humanities abstracts, linguistics and language behavior abstracts, physics abstracts, psychological abstracts, and sociological abstracts. Summaries of doctoral dissertations are available in Dissertation Abstracts International. Guides to research seek to direct you to the most important sources of information and scholarship in the area you are researching. Unlike indexes, bibliographies, and collections of abstracts, which tend to strive for comprehensiveness and objectivity in presenting information, guides to research are usually selective and evaluative. Some research guides cover entire fields, such as James L. Harner's Literary Research Guide. Others Single works have titles like Art, Information, Research Methods and Resources, a guide to the literature of pharmacy and the pharmaceutical sciences, and Philosophy, a guide to the reference literature. Some guides to research are devoted to specific subjects within fields. For example, reference guide to mystery and detective fiction. To learn of any guides that might be useful to your project, consult the latest edition of the American Library Association's Guide to Reference Books, your instructor or a librarian's. Reference works that give basic information about subjects. Dictionaries are alphabetically arranged works that provide information, usually in concise form, other words or topics. Among the most authoritative dictionaries for English words are Webster's Third New International Dictionary of English Language, and especially for the history of a word's meanings and uses, the Oxford English Dictionary. More concise English language dictionaries, often recommended for students writers, are the American Heritage College Dictionary, Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, and Random House Webster's College Dictionary. Foreign language dictionaries typically present words in one language followed by translations of those words into another languages. For instance, the New Word Spanish English, English Spanish Dictionary. Some language dictionaries in specialized field are in a multilingual format, such as Elsewhere's Dictionary of Environment in English, French, Spanish, and Arabic. A thesaurus lists groups of synonyms, words with similar meanings. It is useful for writers who wish to find the most precise word for a particular context or to vary their choice of words. Examples are the Merriam-Webster Collegiate Thesaurus and Rosette's International Thesaurus. Major fields of study have specialized dictionaries such as the Dictionary of Art, Dictionary of Computing, Black's Law Dictionary, Dorland's Illustrated Medical Dictionary, the New Grow Dictionary of Music and Musicians, a Dictionary of Philosophy, the Anchor Bible Dictionary, and the Penguin Dictionary of Sociology. Encyclopedias are works, usually alphabetically arranged, that give introductory information about subjects. Popular general encyclopedias are Academic American Encyclopedia, the Columbia Encyclopedia, the Encyclopedia Americana, and the New Encyclopedia Britannica. Specialized encyclopedias include Encyclopedia of Architecture, the Film Encyclopedia, Encyclopedia of American History, the New Princeton Encyclopedia of Poetry and Poetics, the Corsini Encyclopedia of Psychology and Behavioral Science, and McGraw-Hill Encyclopedia of Science and Technology. Biographical sources present information on the lives of prominent persons. Information on living persons is collected in current biography. The international Who is Who, the Canadian Who is Who, and Who is Who in America. Similar books exist for other countries as well. Who is Who in Australia, Who is Who in Italy, Who is Who in Latin America, Who is Who in the Arab world, and so forth. Sources for person no longer living are American National Biography. For the United States, Dictionary of Canadian Biography, Dictionary of National Biography. For Great Britain and Webster's New Biographical dictionary. Yearbooks present information about specific years in the past. Examples are the American Annual, Britannica Book of the Year, and the Europa Yearbook. Almanacs are annual publication containing data, especially statistics, about many subjects. Examples are the word almanac and book of facts and the word fact book. Atlases are collections of maps. The National Atlas of the United States of America is the official atlas of the United States. The Times Atlanta's the Times Atlas of the world covers regions and nations of the entire world. Gazetteers provide geographic information. Examples are the Columbia Gazetteer of the World and the Merriam-Webster Geographical Dictionary. Statistical resources provide numerical or quantitative information. Collections of statistics are often published by government agencies. Such works include the following: annual publication, Statistical Aspect of the United States, issued by the United States Bureau of the Census, and the Statistical Yearbook and Demographic Yearbook, both published by the United Nations. The United States government has also created a number of internet sites that provide statistical data. American Fact Finder, produced by the Census Bureau, is a source for population, housing, economic and geographic data. Fed states, published by the Federal Intelligence Council on the Statistical Policy, give access to statistics and other information produced by more than 70 United States government agencies. The Service, the Congressional Information Services (CIS), Statistical Universe provides comprehensive United States statistical information, including an index to over 100,000 statistical publications. Publication forms of reference books, print and electronic. Your library probably has reference works in print and electronic forms. Print works may be located in a reference room. General reference books like dictionaries, encyclopedias, biographical sources, yearbooks, atlases, and gazetteers may all be sold together in one place, while specialized reference books may be grouped according to subject areas: biology, business, literature, psychology, and so forth. The volume of reference works published annually indexes, bibliographies, and abstracts collections are likely to line up in chronological order. Electronic reference works available as electronic databases are usually outlined online or on CD-ROM. Searching and drawing materials from the library's databases can be done in the library building and probably from outside as well over the internet. Print versus electronic. Online and CD-ROM databases have number of advantages over print versions of reference works. Much more information is generally available in a database, whereas the print version of an annual bibliography covers the research and scholarship for only 1 year. The electronic version of the work typically covers several years. Let us say then that You want to find out what was written on a subject during the last 5 years. With the printed versions of an annual bibliography, you would need to consult 5 volumes, in effect, conduct 5 searches to identify what you want. With the electronic version, you would need to do just one search. Information is usually more current in electronic formats. The printed volume of an annual reference work, for example, is published once a year. A CD-ROM version of the same work is commonly updated and issued to subscribers several times a year. An outline database is normally on an ongoing, continually updated project and is therefore the most up-to-date of the three forms. Electronic databases generally allow you to print out or download any information you wish to record, whereas you need to write out information when using printed sources. You can transfer downloaded data from your computer diskette to your research paper without the risk of introducing errors to copying by hand, since compilers of bibliographic reference works sometimes make errors. However, you need to verify the information derived from the databases against the source itself when you consult it. Some bibliographic databases provide hypertextual link that can take you directly from a reference to a full text electronic version of the source. Most important of all, you can search electronic version of a reference work in many more ways than you can the printed version. Searching a reference database. Every field of study has standard reference works. One such work is the MLA International Bibliography, which lists studies in the fields of language and literature. This work is published in print and electronic format. Versions, print. The printed library edition of this work is published annually in two cloth-bound books. The first contains listings in 5 areas: literature in English, literature in other languages, linguistics, general literature and related topics, and folklore. The second book provides a subject index to the first. Electronic. The MLA International Bibliography is also published in online and CD-ROM versions, which contain all citations published in annual volumes of the bibliography from 1963 to the present. Therefore, while an annual print volume of the MLA International Bibliography lists around 60,000 titles, the electronic versions offer information on more than 1.5 million titles. Using these electronic editions, which are available from different vendors, involves searching techniques common to most databases. The standard ways of searching this database and similar ones are by author, title and subject. Each vendor system has help screens to guide you through its software interface. Types of searches. Author searches. By entering the name of a scholar, you can obtain a list of the titles by the author that are collected in the database. For example, if you want to know what studies by the writer Deborah Tenney have been published in the fields covered by this bibliography, you can enter her name and receive a list of titles. Title searches. If you know only the title of a work like the essay Black Matter or the book Talking Voices, you can call for complete bibliographic information about the work from the database by entering the title. If you remember only part of the title, you can request a listing of all titles containing that term. For example, Fun City TV's urban situation comedies of the 1990s, The City in Modern Police and Hungarian Poetry, the London Scene, City and Court, Japanese adolescent speech styles in Hiroshima City, and ethnographic study. Subject searches. Since every work added to this bibliography is accompanied by at least one descriptor, a term that describes the work's subject matter, you can also search the database by subject. Thus, if you ask for studies that discuss, for instance, detective fiction, the system will search through its files and present you with all titles that have detective fiction as a descriptor. If you want studies of the Mon, if you want studies of the Toni Morrison's novels, you can search for records with Toni Morrison as a descriptor. Expanded searches. Databases like the MLA and International Bibliography also permit you to expand or narrow your searches usefully. While you are trying to decide on a topic, you may want to do expanded searches to get a broad sense of possibilities. An expanded subject search of these databases can be particularly helpful when you are developing a suitable research topic. If you have a general idea that you want to write on detective fiction, you can find related subject by entering the word detective in your expanded subject search. Detective comics, female detective, detective drama, French detective, detective fiction, hard boiled detective, detective film, American detective fiction, detective magazine, Egyptian detective fiction, detective novel, English detective fiction, detective story, paranormal detective fiction, detective television, Cinezilis detective fiction. Also useful for expanded searches is the truncation feature by using a truncated or shortened term. For example, a word root followed by an asterisk, you can retrieve all variants of it. If you wish, for instance, to do a paper on feminism but cannot decide what aspect to focus on, you can enter as a research term "femini" and receive records on, among other subjects, feminine discourse, femininity, feminist movement, and feminist writers. Boolean searches. The electronic MLA International Bibliography also permits searching according to Boolean logic, named after the 19th century British mathematician and logician George Boole. In this kind of searching, you customize your research request with the operators and or not. For example, you can use the Boolean operator or to expand your search. The following search expression will furnish Arthur Conan Doyle or Sherlock Holmes. If you want to perform narrow searches, the Boolean operators note and can limit the field of titles accessed. If you are interested in finding studies on, say, versions of the story of Othello other than Shakespeare's, enter the following Othello, not Shakespeare. Or if you would like to identify studies that compare Shakespeare's play with Othello, Verdi's operatic adaptation of it, keying the following rather than just Othello, will result in a shorter, more forced list of sources: Othello and Otello. Other advanced researches, the MLA International Bibliography in its electronic versions offer other ways to restrict your search. It allows you to retrieve titles from a single publication source. For instance, articles on the Othello that have appeared in Shakespeare's quarterly over the last several decades. The database also allows you to limit your search according to language or publication, for example, Japanese or Spanish. Publication type, that is book, journal, article, and publication year. You can obtain a list, for example, of books on Goethe's Faust that were written in German and published in 2000 or later. Bibliographic information provided allows you to print out and download bibliographic information. It also gives you the choice of how to view, print or download data. The display style varies among the interfaces through which the MLA International Bibliography is offered. Figures 2 and 3 present two ways in which the bibliographic information may appear. The complete record includes title, author, source, international standard, serial number, language of publication, publication type, publication year, subject descriptor, sequence number, update code, and accession number. The short-term citation usually gives only title, author, and source. Dear friends, up to this time you have heard research and writing, conducting research. Further, we will keep it on the online catalog of the library holdings. We will read it tomorrow. I thank all of you for your presence today. You are listening, watching 3M Creator YouTube channel. It will enhance your talent, your knowledge, information, instruction and directions that are really useful for our research scholars, those who are doing research in the foreign universities. Dear friends, as you know that our India is known as the most spiritualistic nation. India is known by its spiritual values, religious values. Whether India was the developing nation, but now it has become developed in the spiritual values as well as in the futuristic vision of our scholars. India will become explorer, exporter and exposer in the different fields of agriculture, industry, communication, transportation, railways, post offices, and even in information technology. Revolution in information technology, which is the most modern advancement of our country, and our country definitely will lead the worldly people in all these fields. Thanks, dear brothers and sisters, all of you, those who are listening, watching, and creator. May God bless all of us. Thank you very much.